if you think of the 3 biggest cities, you should name the 3 biggest, most prominent fucking cities in the United States. You would definitely name New York City. Mm-hmm. You'd probably name Los Angeles second, and then you might throw Chicago or something else in there.
Yep.
You'd probably say those. One of the 3 major cities in our country is on fucking fire.
Yeah.
It is on fire, and we are unable to put it out.
Think
about
wild.
that. And in the United States of America, in the biggest state, in the most financially fucking crazy state.
So you got to say the hub.
Can't put it out.
We can't fight fire.
The hub for the most money made in America is L.A. It's on
Hollywood.
fire, and it was so poorly mismanaged. It's basically their fault that it's on fire, and it's their fault that it can't be put out. And all the firefighters that are out there risking their lives are because of these fucking idiots.
Right.
Yeah.
That mismanaged everything.
Now, was LA... Welcome to the Sofa Kingdom podcast with your host, Nelson.
Margot.
Ed.
Wait a second. You don't have enough facial hair to be called Margot.
No. It's because she's not here.
Oh, somebody's missing.
It's all right. She's supposed to be here today. It's okay. We'll get her on another time.
Yes, and she does have a valid excuse.
Yes, her dog needs to see snow.
Her mangina is hurting.
It's gunked up.
It's gunked up.
It needs to be disimpacted.
Yeah.
It's okay. It happens. It
Shit
happens to the best of us.
Hey, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
Yep.
Some people make appointments to keep them, and other people, they don't.
It's all right. It's all right.
They say, fuck you. They say, fuck you.
It's okay. It's all right.
Yeah.
We'll fix it. We'll fix it down the road.
Yeah. We actually do have a Margot in the corner.
We do.
It is a large Daffy Duck.
I believe that's Donald Duck.
That Donald Duck, yes, thank you.
Daffy Duck is the black Marvel.
Oh, wow.
Not Marvel. Warner Brothers.
Warner Brothers, yeah.
Yes.
Counterpart to
Of
Donald.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Yes.
I thought you were going to say some racist ass shit.
I wasn't going to say no racist ass shit. It's too early for that.
And it is Sunday.
Yeah,
it is God's day.
It is. Yes, and I went to church
This has been
today.
established, right? This is God's day. Oh, and you went to church.
I
Good.
did go to church.
Good for you, man.
To ask forgiveness for
Everything
almost-
that you've
almost-
done all week long.
yeah. Almost delivering two souls to him last night.
2 souls at Boonies.
Yes. It's all right. It happens. When you go out, you run the risk of running into,
Idiots.
Yes.
Morons.
Come with biblical names. You get what's coming.
That's right. Yes. That's true.
Cletus and what?
Yeah. Abraham and Dalton. I still remember their names. But yeah. It's all right. I was a young man once. I wanted to posture for the ladies. It's okay. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. But you picked the wrong person.
To be fair, I was holding a girl who went to the bathroom. I was holding her high noon. And I have a man bun, so maybe maybe I appeared like a easy target. It's
but
okay.
these are not the days for this, right? Though when we were younger, like we watched Bruce Lee and maybe went to Taekwondo.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we know because we're in the jiu-jitsu world. Some of the nerdiest looking, smallest looking motherfuckers
will kill you.
Can rip your fucking arm off and take it home.
Yes,
right.
Yeah, it was just.
So is it
great.
worth it?
No, it wasn't. I could tell from the handshake that I was like, oh no. Like this, please don't do this. Like, I don't
this
wanna
isn't
do
going to
this.
go good for you.
I was like, this is not good. I was like, your body is not equipped to handle.
No, and do you think
what
that
I could do to it? So
do you think a person like that goes home feeling like, yeah,
he probably felt good, yeah, but he doesn't know. It's equivalent to like a guy that was like, he was fishing in the Australian outback, and he caught a really big fish. Right. What he does not realize is he was standing really close to the water, and below the surface was a very peaceful but a very large saltwater crocodile.
Right.
The crocodile looked up and saw his leg and thought, no.
I'm not hungry.
I'm not hungry.
Yes.
I am not hungry, and I am not that crocodile anymore. And the crocodile closed its eyes again. And so he went back and told everyone about the big fish he caught. And how great he conquered the Australian outback. And I'm glad he feels good about himself.
Yes.
But little does he know that below the surface was a very, very mean crocodile. And at one time, a very dangerous saltwater crocodile.
Yes. No, but still, it's just that you chose peace.
I chose the way of peace.
You chose the path of peace.
I honestly felt not too bad leaving the bar. I felt, I am a warrior in a garden.
That's right.
My sword is on the shelf, and I'm planting flowers.
That's right.
And I was like, this is the idea.
Yes. Buddha be praise you.
Yeah. I chose the peaceful path. It's not always easy. It's not always easy.
It isn't, especially in the face of stupidity. Especially in the face of people that you're like, wow, you really just don't know, do you?
Yeah.
Like,
Well, thankfully they were like they were gently posturing, and it's okay. It's fine. It was annoying, but it was like, oh my God, like please don't do this. Like thankfully they didn't push the issue. Like they didn't do something stupid, and
They thought you an easy mark because you were wearing a polo sweater.
Yeah, but that could have went really different. Like that could have been like the one would have ran in fear after he realized what I had done to his friend, and it would not have been good. It was like it wasn't good. Like I just don't want to do that.
Once you rip another human being's arm off of their body, the other one tends to flee.
Yeah, because a Kimura lock in real life, that's your rotator cuff. That's not. And if you're not lucky, that's your fucking like.
It might be a little unpleasant.
Yeah, it could be your humerus too, depending on his bone structure. It could have snapped his humerus, and then we're in like
that could have been great.
Yeah.
That was like the anime I was watching where like the 3 villains start chasing him in the subway, and then he just grabs the one in the middle and rips his arm off,
right,
and then proceeds to beat the other one with the one he ripped the arm off with.
Hey, an arm would make a hell of a weapon, man. An arm would make a hell of a club.
I'm like, that's fucked up.
Yeah. Well, hey.
He's like, you're not even strong enough to fight me. I'm just gonna borrow this and beat him to death with it.
To be fair, I would have probably escorted them to Palms West. I would have like been like, hey, this happened, blah blah. Take good care of these guys.
Oh man, it would have been like that scene in Roadhouse with Jake Gyllenhaal
driving them to the hospital.
He beats the shit out of the guys, and he puts them in the car,
drives them to the hospital. Yeah, that'd have been me, like helping them out. But
that would have been amazing.
I didn't want to do it. I didn't want to do it, so I chose the way of peace. It's not always the easy road.
No,
it's sometimes you have to internalize some thoughts, but
yes,
you can't get it twisted. You can't let like the way you would like sometimes in your head the outcome to play out.
And also,
realistically, it's not good.
The older we get, right, the harder we've worked for things, the harder we've got these things that we've acquired that took us time, whether it be skill sets and training, and you got your first place and you got your first car, you got you got some things at home that you know what? I earned that. And then you walk down the street and there's an asshole.
Yes.
And you're like, do I throw it all away?
Right. For this
motherfucker right here.
Like this guy, like he drinks beer and operates a forklift. And I'm like, I'm not throwing this away because you. I'm not fucking doing that. Like we're not,
Chances are his fridge is filled with coolers like.
Oh yeah. Or maybe Coors Banquet.
Just because you've successfully done nothing with your life doesn't mean I need to go down the same road you are.
So you smile and you say, "No, man, we don't have a problem. We're good here."
But there is something to ignorance, right? They do say ignorance is bliss, and like you would put those people in the same categories that like join a cult.
Yeah.
There's something so ignorant about them and what they're doing, but yet they're like, "This is the right choice. This is what I need to do with my life." It's the same when somebody steps to you in a bar and you're just like, dude, fucking break your face so hard right now. I would really love to. If this was a different world where like there are some states where you can go outside and fight somebody.
Yes. There's a law. There's a police officer there. He can serve as like essentially someone who's officiating a duel.
Yeah, it's essentially the ref.
Yeah, you agree to civil combat.
You're both agreeing to fight. Have at it.
This is great. Anybody know what these states are?
I don't know, but the thing is, you cannot like if the police officer's there and both parties agree to it and he witnesses it, you can't even sue him.
Yeah,
because like you agreed to it.
There's an MMA fighter. He dresses up as a superhero and he patrols the streets, and he does that. He gets in fights with people just because. Fuck it.
That's bullshit.
That's awful. That's awful. Imagine agreeing to civil combat with a professional cage fighter and just getting your ass.
You're just looking at him like, look at this asshole. He's dressed up as a superhero. And then he beats the shit out of you. And you can't do anything about it because you agreed to mutual combat. Yeah. Congratulations.
And the police officer officiated it.
There are only 2 states. If you had to guess.
Fucking Texas.
Texas?
Oh, right. Nail on the head.
Okay,
That's
so
one.
Texas.
That's
oh my
one.
God. And oh my God, what's another fucking oh my God. Texas?
It's called mutual combat.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Texas definitely the best option there. The second one might surprise you, but might not. What do you got, Eddie?
What are you gonna say?
Fuck. I forget where it was that he trains at.
It's got to be somewhere that's not.
I don't want to say he was in Texas.
I'm gonna say New Mexico.
No. Ed? Good guess, though.
I'm trying to think of somewhere like. I know it's somewhere where you can.
It's got to be a little lawless.
Yeah,
it's got to be a little lawless.
I see fucking tumbleweeds.
I'm thinking the same thing. Like,
come on, Eddie. If this was Jeopardy, you would have lost twice already. Come on, just guess the state.
Not New Mexico.
No.
Washington D.C.
Really?
Washington and Texas.
Our nation's What?
Yes, our nation's capital.
You can walk down the street in Washington D.C. and challenge someone to mutual combat.
I think the guy's in Washington.
So I
don't believe he's in Texas.
So you can challenge someone to mutual combat outside of the White House.
Fuck yeah, you could do it in front of Abraham Lincoln.
In front of the Washington Monument as a background.
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, not bad. I mean,
Texas, I knew.
Yeah, Texas.
I mean, fucking, like, come on.
Texas is a gimme, right?
There we go. Phoenix Jones. I want to. I'm double checking if this was the guy.
He dresses as a superhero.
Yeah,
he fights people.
He dresses as a superhero.
It's got to be in Washington.
Oh my God.
Because it's got to be ridiculous.
Why would you fight him?
I wouldn't.
Why would you fight that guy?
He looks like Batman, like made love to Wolverine and had
Yeah.
a baby.
He's a big boy too.
So why are you fighting this giant guy?
Because people are fucking delusional, bro. People are delusional.
True.
Right? There are regular, everyday people. You hear these stories from MMA fighters on podcasts where people challenge them to fights in bars. They get a little bit of alcohol in them and that beer muscle takes over and they're like, I could take Chuck Liddell.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here. You
can't.
Even if he was concussed 2 times over, he could still fuck you up.
Yeah.
Like right now, Chuck Liddell at a bar, like with bad balance and wobbly stance, he would probably beat the fuck out of 90% of the population.
Fucking right he would.
Yeah.
Fucking right he would.
He'd probably tear people apart. Someone said that the other day. They said like DC, like retired DC now, like fat announcing all that shit.
Yeah.
And they were like, but people don't realize that like even now, like even DC right now, if he just came off the announcement table, he would beat the fuck out of 99.9% of the entire world's population.
I do not disagree with it.
Yeah.
Like he's one of the greatest fighters of all time.
Yeah, and then
easily.
he could just easily put that weight on you right now, right?
Oh, yeah.
He's got a little bit of chunk in him. It's all right. He doesn't need to move much.
But he's still like a fucking 2-time Olympian.
Goddamn right.
He's 2-time Olympian. He's the former Strikeforce heavyweight champion. He has won the light heavyweight and heavyweight belts in the UFC. His losses are to Stipe and John Jones, and that's it.
He's a little older.
Slacker.
He's a little heavier. I don't think he really has like injuries that
that's what I'm saying. Like,
that are really like inhibiting his ability to fucking fight.
Unless you're a trained professional at like a super high level, you're not beating up DC.
You know who else was like that? It was a big, kind of a sloppy guy, but big country Roy Nelson.
Yeah.
When I found out he had a black belt in jiu-jitsu, it was one of the most surprising things I ever heard in my life.
Yeah.
Ever.
But then he said he would just smother people with his belly, and then it all made sense.
Yeah. When he said that, I'm like, oh, they fucked over Kimbo.
Yeah.
They took the one thing he couldn't do, and they said, put a big guy who has a black belt.
Oh, he held Kimbo down like he was a child.
Yeah, and he's like,
Kimbo couldn't move.
Yeah, well, they wanted to prove a point at that time, right?
Yes.
Is that the street fighter couldn't just come off the street and beat a mixed martial artist.
I remember just Roy Nelson holding him in crucifix.
Yeah.
Yes.
And just punching him in the face, but it was so light. Like it
was
was
just
over and over again.
It was death by 100
And
taps.
I remember like Roy just yelling out loud in the middle of the match, like, "Come on, ref!" Because he's like, he's not going anywhere.
But you know
like,
what?
Kimbo's not going anywhere.
That was a courtesy.
he could have.
If you really think about it,
he could have been put elbows in there if he wanted
Yeah,
to.
he could have wrecked his whole fucking face up, but he was just like, look, ref, he clearly can't get out.
Yeah.
I want my Whopper with cheese. I want to get the fuck out of here. That's what he was saying, right?
The one thing is, Roy Nelson could also bang. Like Roy Nelson had a fucking right hand.
He had
like,
a hand like Mark Hunt.
Yeah, he knocked a lot of dudes out.
But that's one of those things where
Roy
like
Nelson put a lot of guys to sleep.
I don't know. My perspective of Tough Enough was like, this is your chance to build people up, and that was just a deliberate tear this person down.
Yeah,
and
it was.
And that was my issue with it. It wasn't like, we know he can't.
They put him
They
put him on the boost rating.
Can't fight on the ground. We know that. So like, you should be using this time to build that.
Yes.
And all you did was immediately like, nah, fuck him.
But after that showing, they realized what kind of ratings he brought in.
Yes.
And
to
that's
be
when
fair,
they gave him a fight that he could win.
Houston Alexander.
I think Houston retired after that, right?
I think so. Well, Houston was also lighter. He was 205. So when he took the fight at heavyweight against Kimbo kind of ragdolled him. Like he threw Houston around.
He did.
And Houston was more of a striker. It was more like
Yeah.
It was more of a fair fight.
It was more tailor-made.
Like, for him to display some of his skill set.
You almost wish Bare Knuckle was around for good old Kimbo.
Yeah.
That probably would have been his fucking thing.
That would have been his bread and butter. But a lot of those guys disappeared. They've actually joined gyms.
Yeah.
Like, they found their outlet.
Well, yeah, I mean,
it's still being done.
You found a way to actually...
Yeah, Bare Knuckle FC is actually taken off.
Enough fighting outlets where you can make money opened up, where it's like, instead of doing it for $10 in somebody's backyard, you can actually go here, and it might not be much.
Yeah.
but it's more than the fucking nothing.
Do you remember those backyard wrestling CDs?
Oof. Jesus God, yeah.
Some of the worst display of humanity.
They are still
ever.
They're still going on, and they're worse than ever.
Yeah, jumping off of roofs onto tables.
I remember
and
I had friends that did that. I had friends that did that in high school. They would hit each other with the fucking fluorescent bulbs and shit. I'm like, dude, you guys are stupid as shit. They'd ask if I want to come over. I'm like, no, 0 interest.
No, yeah.
Why? So you can light a fucking chair on fire and smack me over the head? No, I'm good. I'll stay inside and play video games on my Saturday.
And this was like prior to going viral. So like you guys are just doing it for what? The glory of the neighborhood?
Yeah, you're doing it so people can watch you get nailed. Like, no, I'm good.
Yeah, see, no, we did it, but we didn't. No one was jumping off tables or bringing out.
Right.
It was just regular wrestling.
Right,
Yeah.
but that's different, right? That's
Suplexing somebody like funny, like onto the grass is whatever, or onto a mattress is funny as shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like jumping off of your fucking roof with someone in a pile driver, what the fuck are you doing?
Everyone had enough common sense to go. Even like with certain moves, like, hey, that one doesn't feel like we're gonna land that correctly.
Yeah.
Let's not.
Yeah. I'm not gonna respond. Like if you come into the ER and like the reason you are broken your neck is like you fucking power bombed your friend off of like your garage through a table, I'm gonna just look at you. I'm not gonna respond. Like when you tell me, I'm gonna go, huh, and I'm gonna keep typing. I'm not
like you did
like,
this, huh?
Back when it was first happening, there was no real internet to see how bad things got. Nowadays, you see these videos where it's like a 20-foot bridge and they push their friend off and like, oh,
God.
You paralyzed your friend thinking you were funny.
Yeah.
Good job, jackass.
You're a piece of shit.
Exactly.
That's what happens when somebody lands ever so slightly wrong. They break something.
Right, and that's one of the things that as you get older, you kind of look at pro wrestling and you're like, yeah, it's impressive and everything, but you understand that like if you did that in a real scenario.
Yes.
Like if you did that in a real scenario, the fight is over.
Oh,
the fight is over. If you powerbomb someone on their head, the fight is done.
Yes.
It is done.
We've seen what happens when you have the power to genuinely powerbomb somebody. See Rampage Jackson.
The fight's over.
Yeah.
And that's even on a mat.
Yep.
But it looks good on the
It does
mat.
look good.
It looks good. Yeah. I'm a fan of a big power bomb. I really am. Yeah. I think actually more people should be power bombed.
Yes.
It should be like you're in a Walmart and you're like, we were discussing the one slap per year. Maybe it should be one power bomb per year.
God,
you should watch a couple of
people be power bombing people wrong.
Yes.
Political sessions in Japan. There's a lot of judo that happens.
Yes.
And it is really good judo.
Yeah.
I seen this one video
Japan.
where it was kind of like the Japanese Maury Povich, and they're fighting. She's fighting with her husband, and she goes to get up and hit him. And one of like the producers or the soundstage men run on the stage to stop her, and she just fucking slams him on the floor. People in the comments like, he didn't deserve that. I'm like, he did.
Yeah.
He did. He ran at her full bore thinking, I'm going to detain this woman. She's like, the fuck you are.
A great instance in which technique is very effective.
Yeah, absolutely. She's seen her
go
opportunity.
Go train something.
Yes. Anything. No, I was on my game and I was discussing jiu-jitsu, and so somebody was like, "Oh man, yeah, I do kempo." I was like, "Oh, is that where they fold the paper into planes or flowers?"
Origami.
That's what he said. He's like, "Yeah, it's origami." I said, "No, I think it's kempo." Get the fuck out of here.
Kempo was what the hell was that? That was Chocolate L's base.
Wasn't it Steven Seagal's base?
Aikido. Yeah. Aikido is wrist lock.
So kempo is just all upper body, though, right?
It's one of those martial arts that it became more showy and watered down and purely for competitions and things like that, where it's like, yeah, if you're doing just kempo versus kempo, but once you add other things in, it's no longer.
It's pretty much a useless martial art.
Yeah.
But wasn't it designed or that
Kempo is like it's a form of karate that's like
disarming.
No, it's more upper body. Like it's a lot of handwork, which is why Chuck Liddell was always he always had good hands.
Yeah.
The one guy that really made it big in the United States was Ed Parker. Ed Parker had a system of Kempo karate that everybody tried to adopt, and it was big for a while. I remember because that was the seminar that I was in where I headbutted the teacher and I got thrown out of the seminar.
Yeah, you probably shouldn't do that.
Well, we were doing grab the shirt, like
you
grab someone's shirt, and like he was doing this fucking technique and like how what's the best, most effective way. And I was like, to be fair, I was a cocky kid. I was like 17, 18 years old.
Right.
And I was like, I don't know if that's the best like way to get out of that. And he's like, oh, you fucking get all offended, you know. And he's like, it's like in this studio, this like dance studio. And he comes over and he's like, yeah, well, why don't you show me the best way to get out of it? And like he was doing this thing where like you grab the shirt and you grab the wrist, hit the elbow, and then you go from the elbow and attack the neck. Like right. So it's like pop pop and like it's quick, yeah. But I was like, I don't know if it's the quickest, man. And he's like, all right, well, I'm gonna grab your shirt. He's like, and then you do what you would do. He's like, and then like.
You're like, okay.
He's like, but I'm gonna let you know. I'm gonna try to block it. I was like, all right, man. And like, so he grabbed my shirt, and like, I grabbed his elbow. And when I grabbed his elbow, I drove my forehead into his face, and like, it fucking smashed his face. Like, he's like, get the fuck out of here! He's all pissed off, you know, because he's got blood all over his gi. And I was like, dude, like, what the fuck you want me to do?
You said
like,
you were gonna block.
You said you were gonna block.
It was quicker.
Yeah, and it wasn't
Hell,
a fucking.
You voluntarily let go.
Yeah, there was no. Well, he had 3 moves. He had you grab the wrist, you have to hit the elbow to create them to step forward, and then you hit them in the neck. And I was like, I'm just gonna fucking grab your elbow to trap you and go to you. Like,
yeah.
Like I took the hardest part of my head and went to your fucking face. And he to be fair,
he didn't like it.
I saw right through it. He said, "This is because he believed the Kool-Aid. He was like,
yes,
this is the most effective technique in this situation."
Yeah.
And instantly I saw. I was like, no, it's not. Like, no, like. The European soccer fans have a much better technique that they have been doing for 100 years in a pub. Like, no, your technique is flawed.
It is.
Any soccer hooligan missing his front fucking teeth will tell you
that
there is a better technique out there. Any rugby player will tell you. Yes.
It's legitimate.
The Europeans are onto something.
This is the picture of Kimbo.
Yeah.
Oh,
if you hit anybody with the double fist,
the fight's over.
Yeah, boy, I mean, it's a deadly technique.
That's the kiss of death. That's the kiss of
your
death.
throat and your balls.
Oh, man. At the same time,
you're done. You're fucking done.
You know how much strength you could do with that move like that? I believe he stole that from the YMCA.
I mean, it's like a lot of martial arts that originated in like the 70s and 80s, like that got big. There's a lot of flaws with it.
Yeah. But look, it could be said about anything. So it's like when you have like a mixed martial artist, like a Chuck Liddell, who said, hey, you know, there's some good things to be taken from Kempo, and then he adopted it with what he was doing with other martial arts. I believe his biggest base was what, Muay Thai.
To be fair, his kickboxing and his wrestling were much more effective.
They were amazing, right?
Kempo it's like George St. Pierre. Kyokushin karate was his base.
Right.
Yeah. To be fair, his fucking wrestling became his
right. I mean, because it became his bread and butter. But it gave maybe the discipline, a little bit of speed, a little bit of technique learning.
He had very good kicks, and he had like good like he did like a lot of Superman punches. He did really good at his lunging attacks.
Yeah.
But
so there's something to be said with like, okay, at least it helped you start getting into the real martial arts.
Yeah. Even his boxing down the road, George St. Pierre had one of the best jabs in MMA. Yeah. Like at one point, which is crazy.
Well, I mean,
he was like
you even see like a lot of karate and a lot of those things completely fell off once Muay Thai kind of came into MMA. But now you're seeing some of it is coming back in. Some, especially like the point fighting, that really quick lunging in, getting your and it took a while for people to finally get it to work.
Yeah.
But there's plenty of people that are
Steven
very
Thompson,
successful.
Lyoto Machida.
With
Michael Venom Page.
With
a lot of guys
bringing
in
in certain techniques from that into it. It's just you got to be skilled enough to do it.
Yeah. I still haven't seen anyone in the ring with the glow yet, though.
Yeah.
No.
I suspect you won't.
If they
mean show enough in the was wrong.
No, he's wrong.
I think we need about 15 more years of CRISPR, and then we'll do a little gene editing, and then your sweat will be what's fluorescent and glows.
Then we might get to a point where
and then we could get there.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll never get to see it, but
no, and I don't think we'll ever get to the point where they throw a fireball. That's kind of like.
Yeah.
Sadly, we're never going to see that.
I think we've had that already, we would have seen it. So it's probably not happening.
Virtual reality's got to step its game up. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Gotta wait on good old Zuckerberg to
yes,
burn a couple more $1 billion, get it moving a little faster.
I'm surprised the UFC doesn't make an aftermarket for these fights where, like, you know how sometimes in like the previews where they'll make them look like they have like electricity coming out of their hands and throwing punches. Like, I wouldn't mind rewatching some fights if they dubbed over them with a little bit of CGI and graphics in there, right?
Not making it ridiculous, like,
right, bro. They tell me you wouldn't be interested,
like Poatan, like Alex Bahia throws a left hook and the guy's head is severed off.
Yeah, come on.
I mean, it'd be a nice effect.
Or like, you know, Chuck Liddell punches somebody and then he sends him into another galaxy. I'd be like, that shit is fucking hilarious.
You could probably take a 3-round fight, turn it to a 1-round fight, and with some editing and add all that in, and just like Here's the relevant stuff. A little something.
Yeah. I mean, I would watch that shit. I really would. I wouldn't be mad.
Nice.
All right, so we discussed this before the podcast, and was something that I was thinking about the other day. It was remakes that were better than the original. And it was brought to my attention when I was watching Dune.
Yeah.
I was going to say that too.
Yeah, because the new Dune, and it does have to do with the CGI, the graphics.
Particularly part 2.
Yes.
I mean, allowing for the story to breathe as well, because they tried to squeeze all of Dune into one movie the first time.
It would have failed.
Yeah.
It would have failed. It would have been like Rebel Moon or some stupid shit.
And back then, too, they had to do things like that because they didn't have the technology to tell the story the way that they wanted
and they weren't going to get a part 2.
Right.
That's what it comes down to. When some of it like part 2s and 3s was not a thing. You get one. You get one. Tell your story.
And that's it. So, I mean, Dune, the casting, the graphics, the overall presentation on screen is far better now than the original. Not knocking the original. Like, we got to take it from somewhere to get to somewhere. But I think, to me, that's probably like the epitome of like, oh, man, this was done way better than the original, where other things tend to fucking fail.
Yeah.
As far as remakes are concerned. What about you guys?
I mean, I can highlight like one that like really did do a better job than the original, and I can also highlight in the same antithesis, since they're essentially the same movie. One that did not do well. The same thing.
Like Willy Wonka did not do well the second and third time around.
No, that's one that they have yet to capture the magic of Gene Wilder.
Yeah,
they've yet to top him. But Dracula.
Yes.
The original one with Bela Lugosi, I think it was an okay horror movie. It was one of the groundbreaking ones for early Universal Studios.
Right.
But I think Bram Stoker's Dracula with Keanu Reeves, Anthony Hopkins, and who played Dracula? I can't think of his name. Commissioner Gordon. Gary Oldman.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Amazing. I think that's the gold standard. I think that's the best Dracula movie and one of the best vampire movies ever made. On the same spectrum, the original 1920s Nosferatu.
Still holds water.
I saw Robert Eggers' version. It was. I remember we talked about Lily Rose Depp's nipples.
Right.
Yeah.
I think it was a good movie. I don't think I hate it, but I don't think it. To say that it did not beat a silent film from the 1920s feels like a diss, especially in this modern times. But I don't know, man. It was weird, and I think at some points it missed the mark.
Yeah.
Some people loved it.
Yeah.
I got a good nap. I'm just, it's whatever.
So Willy Wonka for you was
I agree with that on
especially
that.
Especially the second one was really bad. But like I was listening to 9 Inch Nails this weekend. It just popped up on my feed, and then you realize, the song "Hurt" doesn't belong to them anymore. That's a Johnny Cash song.
Johnny Cash song.
And even Trent Reznor, the lead behind 9 Inch Nails, had said it after he heard his verse. He's like, it's not mine.
Yeah.
It's not mine. He did it so much better.
Yeah.
That's not my song anymore.
right.
Yeah. It's like if we're talking about songs, it's like a Disturbed Sound of Silence.
Sound of Silence again.
Yeah.
I mean,
original-
Simon and Garfunkel, Sound of Silence is a great song, but I think
He
David
took it to
Draymond
another place.
Yeah.
Like,
it's just
he
so much
took
better.
it to another place.
His voice was so haunting. It was like, oh shit, that's his now.
Yeah.
That's his song.
I would say, jumping back to movies, the one that they can't get right after Eddie Murphy's Dr. Dolittle.
Oh yeah.
They tried.
No,
they
can't
even
get that right.
casted Robert Downey Jr.
Still
I
failed.
went to watch it, and I was just like, there's something about the way Eddie Murphy delivered it,
because it wasn't needing better CGI to tell the story. It's like the person playing the doctor really needs to sell it.
The Crow.
Oh,
Horrible.
Yes.
Horrible.
Haven't seen
The original one with Brandon Lee.
Yeah.
Called classic.
Yep.
Called classic. Sting's wrestling character inspired. Heath
Yes.
Ledger's Joker inspired by that movie, by that film. The new one with Bill Skarsgård. Pile of shit.
There was another one in the middle. Actually, there might have been two.
City of Angels.
In the middle there.
Crow City of Angels. And there was a TV show.
Yes.
Which, for what it was okay. But it was by no means as good as the original.
Yeah, the Bill Skarsgård one, there's way too many fucking holes in it. And like in the original one, like the guy is a musician and his wife is like does charity work or something. Like you actually care about them.
Yeah.
They seem like a couple that loves each other, and when they die, it's a sad thing. In this one, they're like drug addicts and even in their spare time, like they're kind of pieces of shit.
Yeah.
So like when they're getting murdered, I'm like, par for the course.
Fuck 'em.
Fuck 'em. Look, they got what they deserve.
Yeah, they probably shouldn't come back. He wouldn't come back.
It's like a guy on a moped doing 30 in a 45.
Jesus God, dude. The thoughts going through my head. I left church too, man. I went to church. I had a good breakfast, and I'm like coming here, and this guy is just doing 30 miles an hour on 441, and the voices, the intrusive thoughts, man.
Yeah.
I had a devil on each shoulder. On this one, he's like, run him over. And I look to my right. I look to my right, and the one on this shoulder is going, just nudge him a little. Like, there's no good voice.
All right, both.
There's no good voice at all.
If you have a vehicle, you got to be able to keep up with the flow of traffic. And certain vehicles, they get away with not having a license because they're under 50 cc. But then it barely gets 40. It barely gets 40 miles an hour.
Topping out at 30 miles an hour.
And you hold up the traffic.
Hold up the traffic, but
way back, dude.
all you need is one person driving, and they switch lanes real quick because someone's coming up behind them. You can't move. They didn't see you because you're small. You're just going to get run over. Yeah. Because they can't slow down in time. Because you can't actually maintain traffic speed.
I thought about just I'm sad.
Nudging.
I'm sad. I think the good karma I got from the other night and avoiding the bar fight, I would have completely lost if I would have run.
That's why you got to keep like a foot-long sub in your car. Hear me out. So when you're driving by, you can always roll down the window, throw it out the window.
Map him with it. Right in the mouth. Take him out. Or like a gallon of like orange drink or something.
Like a big old thing of shredded lettuce. So it's like, you're not gonna be blind, but fuck you. You know what you're doing.
You remember the shitty
You talking about hitting him with a head of lettuce? Like
No, shredded. I said shredded, so it goes. It just blinds.
Yeah, you're right.
And
if you hit him with a solid wrapped iceberg,
head of lettuce, he might tip over.
He's going down. That's like a punch. That's like a fucking punch.
At 35, that's gonna knock him over.
Yeah, that's gonna
I
hurt him
think we
pretty bad.
underutilize water balloons. You know, like we should have.
That's also gonna knock him over.
Right. But fill it with vinegar. Right.
You're a fucking dick. You're a fucking dick. You hit somebody with a balloon full of apple cider vinegar, your day is over. Your day is over.
You might not.
That shit would be great.
Especially nice vinegar, like with the mother. It's got all the shit floating in it. Oh my god.
You might not.
He's healthy, but
you might not realize it. But when you're on a motorcycle, heavy rain, you feel it when it hits you.
Oh yeah.
So a water balloon is gonna be real unpleasant,
bro. If you're flying with no mask on, like if you're flying up the road and you get hit with a cicada, you're going down.
A lot of these people on scooters, they're wearing like bicycle helmets, not even like road-worthy helmets. So it's an open face. You smack them in the face with a water balloon, you're breaking their nose.
This guy had no helmet. This guy had no helmet. He had fucking sandals on.
Hell yeah.
He's just 30 miles an hour up the road.
We can probably still catch up to this motherfucker.
Oh, he's still out there.
I got vinegar. You got a water balloon?
We would definitely catch him before he made it to Port St. Lucie.
Sandals, you tear your feet apart. Your skin, when it hits blacktop, just shreds.
Yeah, they call it degloving.
So is that why people wear leather?
Yes.
You're supposed to wear boots when you bike because when your feet hit the road, if you don't have the proper footwork on, he's right.
What happens
it's taking it all off.
So
road rash.
To the bone.
With leather, what happens is you skid. So the leather itself takes the damage and not you.
Right.
So, but if you're wearing mateens like regular jeans, this can't take that friction. It just rips right off, and then it's your skin taking the hit.
Right.
So there's certain materials you're supposed to be wearing because they can absorb that friction, and they allow you to slide so that you're not hitting the ground with a dead stop immediately, and it lets the impact.
So that's why you own those assless chaps when you were riding.
They're perfect. They're exactly what they're for.
I love it. I love that. Yeah, my buddy had a motorcycle accident his senior year of high school, and I remember he slid up the road because he wrecked, and he did not have the proper attire on, and he said when he ended the accident standing on his feet. He doesn't know how, but he ended up on his feet.
Yep.
And his shirt was draped. The back of his shirt was completely open. His back of his jeans were gone. His underwear were gone. He's standing ass out, and he had road rash from the back of his neck the whole way down to his ankles. And he said then when he felt the cold air hit it, he was like, it then hit him. Oh my god, his whole back was a scab. It was horrible. It was horrible looking. Absolutely horrible.
That's why I don't want to bike.
Yeah, he had road rash.
Yeah, I can't fuck around with a bike.
I just can't get a bike, even though as fun as it looks, because I don't get past the idea of me hitting whatever I'm hitting at however fast I'm going. I don't like that. And even if you're a good driver, if Agnes, the 85-year-old lady that they haven't taken her driver's license yet, pulls out in front of you and you hit her, it's you hitting her.
Yeah.
It's you. It's not some airbag. It's not a seatbelt.
You're not going to win that.
I don't care what helmet you have on. It's your fucking head and spine going into the side of that car at 60 miles an hour. You're fucked.
You know, I worked at a hospital a long time ago, and those are some of the worst accidents I'd see come in were motorcycle accidents.
Yeah, because it's their body striking whatever they're striking.
Yeah.
And I get it. Some people love the ride. They like to get on their Harley.
Oh, it's a great
and they
time.
like to go, and it's cool. But I just can't get past people being irresponsible. Especially
that's why
Florida.
when I had my bike, you have to ride very defensively and you have to ride aggressively. If someone is right next to you, no.
Yeah.
Because you don't know if they're actually paying attention. Because I've had times where
they're texting, they go over.
I'm literally face to face, and I remember it was a blue BMW. I'm looking her in the fucking eye because she's looking this way, but she's got her phone like this, and she's merging. I'm like, you got your leg turning the fucking car. You're texting. You turned your head as if you're looking,
but
and
she
you're
wasn't.
not, because I'm looking you right in your eyes, and you're just merging into the lane.
Yeah.
You're
like
not a fuck
you are
given.
going to kill me.
Yeah. So you have to
Casually kill me. Like, just murder me.
You constantly have to either slow down or speed up. If they're going to be right next to me, either I slow down because there's no one behind me and they're ahead of me, or I speed up so they're not next to me. So I always have an open space to move to.
Right.
Just in case asshole number one decides to start merging this way or that way.
Nice.
Yeah, you got to be careful on the road, man. Even in the cars these days, I've seen that move. People driving, texting, like on I-95, like 60 miles an hour, just texting on their phone. I'm like, damn, man. All it takes is
all it takes is one hold up.
Yeah.
One brake stop.
Yep.
And you're not looking. You're gonna look up. You're not gonna be able to stop. You're gonna be in someone's back seat.
Yeah.
If it's that important, pull over.
Yeah. And it's not even you. Like, it's not you. It's like you could ruin someone else's fucking life that's doing nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Like, you could ass end somebody going 50, even if you're hitting your brakes, and like they're sitting in their car and their head isn't in the right position. Like, they're not leaning their head back. So like they get hit, you massively herniate their neck. Now they spend the rest of their life as a vegetable. It's you. It's on you. You did that because you were sending a text.
Yeah.
Like, haha, real funny, bro. Like, responding to a meme.
Right.
And like you fucking kill somebody. Like, it's like, damn, bro.
And at
like,
this point,
repercussions.
every phone has a driving mode. If you have an Android, it's built into it. If you have an Apple, it's built into it. You have a car version where it'll read out the text. You say, hey, whatever, and you send this to so-and-so. Call so-and-so. You no longer need to touch your phone at all if you're in your car.
People should do that. They should definitely be utilizing that.
Yeah.
But it's people aren't going to, and that's why you see all these safety things being added to cars where if your hands are off the wheel, this turns off, it starts slowing down it, and they're annoying. But the reality is there are some people that are so lackadaisical behind the wheel
it's like the seatbelt
that it's
thing.
becoming necessary.
Yeah.
But I think we've definitely went in the right direction as far as cars being safer.
Yes.
They are fucking annoying because I can't tell you, like, I back out like a Maserati at my job, and when I'm backing them out of the garages and shit, the Porsche or the Maserati, it's like beep, 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 beep. Like, all the lights are fucking I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to fucking have a seizure in this goddamn car just backing out.
Your seatbelt's not on.
Yeah.
Object in the back. Like, object to the side.
It's like, Jesus, pick one.
I hate driving with Emma, like, in her Tesla. She has a real nice Tesla X, and I hate driving with her because, like, there's a big screen. I mean, like a fucking
It's a
screen
TV. It's a
on the
TV.
dashboard. And it's like, it's telling you where the cars are around you. I hate that.
Yeah.
She's driving, and like, there'll be a car coming up behind us on our right, and it shows it on the screen. I'm like, ew! You got radar? You got sonar on this bitch? Like,
remember the days when you had to do this move?
Yeah.
Oh! That's how you back out of a car, like a
Not
fucking
anymore.
man.
Now we look at the screen.
Yes.
Well, that
line the lines up. I'm good.
that brings into question some of these EVs. They're going so digital that to open the car, it's no longer a handle; it's a push button.
Yes.
If the power goes out on the car, you can't open the door.
Oof.
You have to know where is the emergency release on the door. So it started becoming a thing to have to warn people, like, hey, if something happens, you drive into a lake or you hit a wall or the battery goes dead and you're inside, your window's no longer open, and now you can't manually open your door. You can't put the car into park or put it into neutral. You can't push it. You can't move it. You have to now find, where's the emergency release on the clutch? Where's the emergency release on the door? How do I open these windows? How do I even get to my fucking battery? Some of them, I've had to help people get their cars started, and you have to find a special way to pop the door, a special way to open the seat, climb in because the battery's hidden in the trunk, and the trunk can't open with a key anymore, and it can't open by the latch in the front because the latch in the front is no longer a cable.
Damn.
Because it's all battery powered. So the battery's dead. This car is fucked.
Right.
And if you were inside, you can't get out Because if you don't know where the emergency to release the handle is, you're done.
I say push that motherfucker off a cliff. You know what I mean? With the person in it for buying it. Like terrible choices. You
certain
know what I mean?
features shouldn't be removed. Like a manual ability to just pop and open the door to get out seems like the thing that should stay there.
That's why you always got to carry ball bearings with you. You never know when you got to like throw them out a window and break them open.
Yeah,
you know
but
what
look
I mean?
at the windows that they're putting on the Cybertruck. You're not breaking that window. You're not getting out.
Yeah.
But
again, if you own a Cybertruck, you deserve to die in that motherfucker because that is a hideous fucking car. And I've seen Cybertruck.
Did you ever see the one that the guy that owns La Cantonita, like the new restaurant that just opened up by World of Beer?
No.
It's like neon lights all over it, like the blue and
really?
light blue and
like
pink
a proper Cybertruck?
Bro, when you see it driving at night, you're like, God damn, dude, that looks like a spaceship has landed on Southern Boulevard and it's just cruising with the traffic.
Oh, man.
I like that they're ridiculous looking.
Do you really? Would you own one?
Oh, absolutely.
I would not own any electrical vehicle until we have a better infrastructure of like we have it figured out.
That's the major problem.
That's what I'm not opposed to owning one. I just want to own one where I do not have to worry if I am crossing the goddamn country.
Yeah.
Right.
Whether or not I will be able to drive my car.
Well,
I do not like that.
For that Tesla's the way to go. They actually MKBHD did a whole road trip, multiple types of electric cars. And even though the car is supposed to tell you where the next charger is and things like that, everybody had issues where you'd get to the charger doesn't work. Tesla's at least would let you know this one doesn't work. You can go here. You can go here. And they had just more chargers everywhere, all across the board. But
and when you think about like some of the Teslas, like they don't have that far of a range. Like it'll be like, oh, you got 300 miles.
Oh,
or whatever.
absolutely.
It's like, dude, my Honda Civic, like if I fill the tank up, it's at least 480.
The reality is, depending on how you drive, it significantly cuts down on the range.
Right.
But a bigger drawback is also you need to own a home if you're going to have one full time.
Because you have to charge it.
If it's your main car, you need to own a home because there's plenty of videos you see people where they're in condos and things like that. Their neighbors are unplugging it, pulling it out. They're fucking with the people's cables.
Yeah.
Just in general.
I love these people.
Well,
they're probably the same people that are starting fires in the neighborhoods in LA right now.
I mean, I just seen a video.
Just love to watch the
Yo, isn't it crazy that they're fucking going through another fucking fire in LA?
But they said it was going to happen. The firefighter that was on Rogan less than a year ago said, this thing is going to burn because they're not allowing us to clear the land the way we need to. And they drained the water. He said, if a fire starts and we get wind in the wrong direction, it's going to fucking burn from here to the ocean. And it's exactly what happened.
Yeah, at least protect Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like
California it's a beautiful state. I've been to it. I love it. It's one of the few states that have like literally everything in it. You can go to the beach. You can be in the mountains. You can be in the desert. You can be in snow.
Bum alley.
Oh, yeah. Fucking exactly. Plenty of those. Listen, but for all the money it makes, it makes more money than any other fucking state. It's got all these. It's got Hollywood. It's got all this shit.
It's successful not because they got good politicians. It's because the amount of money pumping through that city.
And to think of how bad they distribute that money, no matter what your political beliefs are.
Yeah, true.
If you live in a state that like has water problems, you need to allocate your funds much better.
Of course.
Like if you live in a place that has wildfires as frequently as they do, why are you not dumping a shit ton of your money with all the taxes you have in California into fighting those fires?
Preventative maintenance.
And there's a resource. They've talked about this. If they shut down the golf courses, the amount of water that could be saved and redistributed where it's needed would be sufficient.
We have...
Well, it wasn't even that.
Firefighters are plugging in hoses to fire hydrants and no water is coming out.
They dumped... They had the water. Yeah. They had water reserves. They dumped it all in the ocean.
For what?
Some of it was they...
For fuck's sake.
It was on the episode of Rogan, but some of it was they were protecting a tiny little fish that lives in a particular waterway. Yep. Now, this fish is around the entire world. It's not endangered. We don't need to dump the reservoir of water that feeds the fire hydrants and everybody's lawns and everybody's hoses and everybody's tap water.
I feel like everyone that signed that bill to protect that fish needs to go around to everyone that lost their home in Palisades and explain to them the importance of this fish.
Yeah, exactly.
Explain to them how important this fish is to the grand scheme of the ecosystem.
We saved the tilapia.
We saved it. There's no longer fire insurance in this state, and you lost everything. But hey, tilapia is available.
The same thing that started happening down here.
Here's some tilapia.
The insurance companies started pulling.
We don't have one.
They started pulling flood insurance off people's policies. They started. And they were pulling fire over there. So
they
they're
pull
like
fire because it's too expensive.
So these insurance companies are deliberately giving you insurance that isn't adequate for where you live. They're like, hey, if you're in an earthquake, we're going to get rid of this thing, which is what's actually important for earthquake.
Yeah.
You got fires, we're going to get rid of this thing, which is actually important for fires.
It's going to be coming in Florida too. For
and then everything fucking burned down, and they're like, well, we're fine because we weren't covering that anyway.
Yeah, it's absolutely ridiculous when you think of the United States and you think of like, oh, we're supposed to be this beacon. Mm-hmm. Whether people believe we are or not, you're supposed to be the country. Like everyone, the American dream. Everybody who's coming here, everybody's trying to get here. If you think of the 3 biggest cities, you should name the 3 biggest, most prominent fucking cities in the United States. You would definitely name New York City. Mm-hmm. You'd probably name Los Angeles second, and then you might throw Chicago or something else in there.
Yep.
You'd probably say those. One of the 3 major cities in our country is on fucking fire.
Yeah.
It is on fire, and we are unable to put it out. Think about that.
And
in the United States of America, in the biggest state, in the most financially fucking crazy state.
So you got to say the
hub.
Can't
put it out.
We can't fight fire.
The hub for the most money made in America is L.A. It's on
Hollywood.
fire, and it was so poorly mismanaged. It's basically their fault that it's on fire, and it's their fault that it can't be put out. And all the firefighters that are out there risking their lives are because of these fucking idiots.
Right.
Yeah.
That mismanaged everything.
Now, was LA the same state that they cleaned up when the visitor from China came?
Oh, yeah. They got rid of the homeless for like a week just so he could see it.
And then they let them come back.
And then they all came back. So they can do it. They can do it.
Exactly.
They just don't want to do it.
Yep.
And it's like, I could understand if this fire was in the mountains of Wyoming or if it was in the mountains of Montana where you have to fly in water and it was a crazy forest that's burning and it was dry. I get that. It's a goddamn city.
Right.
It's a place where people live. It's a major city.
Yeah.
Millions of fucking people everywhere. I have friends that are like sending me, like they work on film crews out there, and they're sending me their location, and I'm like, God damn, bro, like they're surrounded by fire. If the fire continues to spread, they are dead. They will not get out. They cannot get out. And I'm just thinking to myself, like, this is a major city.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it should not be that way. You should be able to put a fucking fire out in a major city.
I've got the idea. You get these really large barrels, right? And you set them outside of the city, and you just fill them with water. And every time there's a fire, you tip the barrels over.
But
and flood the city.
Well, you know, I have an idea. You put a metal structure, right, that connects to a big pipe. And maybe that big pipe feeds it water. And
like
you
the
put
ocean.
them. You put them like every 100 yards, like every 100 yards in all the neighborhoods where there's stuff. And when there's a fire, you plug them in and you have water.
Right.
Oh, that would be a really
like you can use salt water when you fight a fire.
That would be a really good idea.
You can even suck up fish and fire it at the fire. That's fine because you are saving people's lives. It's unbelievable. It's a weird thought though.
So the moral of the story is fuck those fish.
Damn right.
Thank you for joining us at the Sofa Kingdom podcast, where we have figured out how to stop all of these fires in California.
Fire hydrants.
And fuck the fish.
Fire hydrants.
Can you imagine how delicious that fire would smell if you fired like a yellowfin tuna into the fire? Ooh.
Oh,
the way that would sizzle. Oh my god.
Yeah, no, I don't like fish, so it would smell disgusting.
I would love it. I would fucking love that. That'd be delicious, man. Like a salmon.
Man.
Like a king salmon. Fire it just in front
I would
of
not
the fire.
sign the paper to save those fish. I'd be like, let them
Hell
die.
no.
Let them die.
Jesus.
We need more cows, burgers.
We could drain Lizzo's pool.
Those tiny fish that are in every waterway in the
Drop
world.
Lizzo in the ocean.
The wave
alone.
The wave it'll push at least into Nevada. At least.
Goddamn right.
At least.
Proper tidal wave.
Fucking tsunami.
Oh, that was good.
See, we solve real problems here.
We solved the real problem.